Okay, so I've got this newly acquired HB 21 VT engine here, and I've taken it off that little Ace Alpha 15, and I wanted to just check it out. It seems like it's got really good compression. It's been a while since I've had one of these, and the one of these I had, I didn't have a whole lot of good luck running it. But I figured, you know what, that was years ago, let's try another one. That's why I kind of went for this deal. But this was pretty solid. It was pretty, we'll say it was locked up, it was pretty tight. But before I put this on video here, I had put a little bit of oil in the glow plug hole and the exhaust port and heated it up, so it's rotating over better now. But now I think I want to take a little bit better look inside of this engine. And I replaced the prop, and I've taken the spinner off already, because that prop that was on there had been painted, and it was just kind of putting paint all over the place. So let's see what we can see on this thing. Now, those of you that may not know, these HP engines have this shaft drive here, because it's a rotary valve engine, and I'll show you this, the rotary valve, the gear mechanism is up here. So there's a shaft here that's driven by a bevel gear here that's connected to the crankshaft, and then it goes up here and it drives the rotary valve. So they've got this set up so that you bypass or you vent back some of the exhaust oil that's coming out of the exhaust into this shaft area here, so it can get some lubrication. That's the whole purpose of that T. Now, I've read that that's not necessary. I've always connected it up. I had a 1 or 2 HP VT 49s one years ago that ran really well. I've got this one now that is, not in a functional state, but I've since replaced that also. Didn't get a chance to run that engine last season. But the thing that I thought was weird was, okay, so
I wasn't thinking I was seeing the rotary valve move
when I was looking in there, but I do see it move. It's like it takes a while to rotate around. So let's start by, boy, I don't know if I've got a small, enough nut driver thing to actually take that thing off or not. Oh, maybe I do. Maybe this one will fit it. No, that's not going to fit it either. This is that Harbor Freight screwdriver set that comes with these little nut driver bits, and it doesn't look like anything wants to fit on there, so I have to try to figure out if I can get this on there enough to loosen this up so I can get the carb off. Man, that's so damn small. Oh, I must have loosened it up enough, because that's coming off. See, there's another one right here where I can take the intake off completely, which I do need to do also. It's like, I really want to find a, boy, is that going to come off now or not? I don't know if that's going to want to come off there. I'm going to have to shove this thing back up in there. Looks like it's going to contact the front of the crankcase. So it looks like I'm going to have to try to find some way to, geez, how the hell am I supposed to get in there and do that? Like maybe this set of, I think I got that. Yeah, there we go. Man, talk about making that
a nearly inaccessible location to get.
I mean, who the hell's got little nut drivers that perfectly fit those things? I can put that back up in there.
So now maybe
I should probably go ahead and take this plug out. So anyway, it's got compression. I'm going to take this plug out so I'm not fighting compression trying to show you this rotating rotary valve, because I think you'll be able to see it. And with these engines, you don't use, even though it's a 4-stroke engine, you don't use a 4-stroke plug on them, because a 4-stroke plug is too long and it'll go in there and contact that valve, rotating valve, and then you're kind of hosed. So yeah, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not. The camera wants to keep refocusing. Look right in there and you should see it open and close. Let me look here. So it's totally open. Let me get to a point where okay. So you can see the rotary valve in there, I think. And I'm going to rotate it now and you should see it close. So it does have good compression. Well, it did when I had the plug in there. So it's not really necessary to take the rotating valve off or the head off, but it's always fun to look in there. The way you retime this engine is piston at top dead center, and that's why I took the carb off, because to retime it you want to, I know you're not going to be able to see this, I'm barely seeing it, but you just want to barely be able to see an opening here, and then if you look here you should see just barely see an opening there. Yeah, so this is that's from MECOA's website. You want to just barely see an opening over here on this side of the intake, and the same amount of small opening on this side of the exhaust. With the piston at top dead center, that's how you drop the rotary valve in to set the timing on this engine. So with that said, let's take the head off and see if, obviously this isn't the ball bearing head version because those are black. This is the bushed or shimmed version, so it should have 2 head shims that sit on top of that rotating valve. And I was looking on MECOA's website, actually on eBay through MECOA, about a new gasket, because I'm pretty sure this gasket will probably come off and be kind of torn. So here's the top of the head. Yeah, that gasket's torn. I'd leave it like that, I think. Here's our rotating valve, so this thing should just pop right up, I think, if I put my finger over there. Gets to top dead center. And then here's our rotary valve. There's the port, the intake and exhaust port that needs to be lined up with this at top dead center. That's all there is to it. And you can see this drive gear here that rotates that rotary valve that's driven from the crankshaft down here. So if I stick feels like it's a top dead center there. Feels like it's a top dead center there, so I'm just going to drop this thing back in there. Hopefully, and see if I got it timed right. Yep, it's timed right now. So, but I didn't check to see, are there shims on here? Yeah, there's one shim. So there should be 2 shims here. Yeah. So there's two head shims there, just like there should be. So I'm going to put those back in place, put the head back on, and then we'll take the bottom portion apart and look for, see what the bearings look like. Trying to think if taking the bottom half off, yeah, I'd still have to retime it. I can just leave this head off. I'll just leave this head off for now. Pop that thing out. Go ahead and take this bottom piece apart. And take a look in there. I don't think there's a gasket in here. I don't believe, I didn't see a gasket listed on MECOA's site. So it's basically just these 6 screws here that hold this split crankcase in place. Okay, that was the final screw. Might have to tap it here. I don't know if that's going to have enough mass to break that loose or not. It did. So it's pretty grimy looking in there. Definitely could use a cleaning. So let's just look at this here. So here's our bevel drive gear, and it's got a cutout right here. A cutout where the connecting rod crank pin lines up. Well, it is kind of gross in there. Now, the first one of these I had a lot of issues with when I put it back together. It seemed like maybe there were some shims or things missing here, and it seemed like I took a lot of time to sit there and try to get this thing realigned. I won't be taking that part apart this time, but I will be cleaning this case up when I go to get some bearings. But all you got to do is just kind of pull this thing out of here like this. And there's our drive assembly. Take that piston off. It looks like it has a Dykes ring. Yeah, it's pretty tight, so it's gonna need some good cleaning there. I don't know if that's a pinned ring or not. I don't think Dykes rings are pinned. But yeah, these bearings are pretty tight. Front one doesn't feel too bad. So there's our disassembly of this engine now. I don't know if I'm gonna leave it like this because I plan on doing a Boca bearing video on this engine, and I usually like to do the cleaning as a part of that. So I'm probably just going to kind of put this thing back together and wait until I get some bearings on order. They have bearing listings for this engine, and I'm going to just trust that those are right and not verify it by taking these off and measuring them first. So that's part of what I do for them, is make sure that their website is correct. So that's the disassembly of this engine. It's definitely got some runtime on it, but the top of the piston doesn't look too bad. It looks more like it was run and then just kind of left in a, not the best of states. But we'll have to pull this drive hub off here too. So I've got a new puller that I can use to do that. But anyway, that's basically our look inside of this engine. It looks like it's in pretty damn good shape, and it should clean up really nice. And there you have it.